Bienvenidos de nuevo, estudiantes de todo. In this video, we're going to be doing some experimenting with Gantt charts inside of Notion. If you're not familiar with a Gantt chart, it's essentially a way to visualize over time what different phases of a project, as an example, you want to be focusing on in a given window of time. And the reason for this is because in project management, as one application, you're going to have different phases of that project that will take longer than just one day. And so it's not just having tasks where you can spend, an hour, maybe even a day, and more or less complete a task from start to finish. A phase of a project is very likely to take longer than that, depending on the scope of the project. And it's helpful, therefore, to have a window where you're specifying, this is when I'm going to focus on this phase of the project, this is where I'm going to focus on this phase of the project. And later on in the video, I'm also considering, all of this is still in development, but I'm also considering applying that same idea of tactically identifying what my focus is in a window of time for my reading as well. So we're going to be experimenting a little bit with all of that. We're going to be seeing a little bit of it here in this video. Without further ado, empecemos.
All this time I've been holding on so tight, 'cause all that I do was easy.
So as you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, this continues to evolve. Instead of my one dashboard, I've got three now. And the one we're going to be focusing on in this video is my active dashboard. The inboxes dashboard is for capturing things, capturing transactions, capturing paychecks, capturing ideas, etc. And then the bird's eye views is where I can create visual charts representing my inflow and outflow of cash, my long-term goals, and other things like that. And then the active tab is where I'm still developing the working areas of my life. And so I'll give you a few examples. If we come here to the table of contents, we can see the active sections, these sections of activity. I've got tasks, books, recipes, courses, interactions, shopping items. And like I said, these are all in development still, but the one that I'm paying the most attention to right now is tasks, because that is pretty central to productivity. The task area, active tasks area, for each of these actually, for every one of these areas, I've got two sort of core sections. Inside of the section for active tasks, for example, I've got the bank of all the available tasks that I have to do, that I could do. It's kind of a someday maybe file. If you watch that video from about the Getting Things Done book by David Allen, you'll see that distinction that I make about whether, instead of capturing your ideas for new tasks in a centralized inbox that you then have to process right away, it makes more sense, in my opinion, to capture them in a sort of bank, which I'll show you now, where you can see them categorized automatically by either overall goal, the long-term goal, which these are also outlined more visually in the bird's eye views section. You can see tasks categorized by those overall overarching goals that they relate to, or the life areas of your life, the buckets that you have with respect to, whatever it is that you're trying to take care of, or whatever it is you're responsible for managing. I've got all of my tasks nice and neatly organized in this central location. And the idea here is I can come to this task bank when deciding what I want to be focusing on next, so that I have those tasks that I could do, but I don't want them taking up my attention right now, listed and housed safely. But it's only the ones that are either visible or targeting now that are going to be promoted to that visible section where I'm actually focusing on them from my active dashboard. Okay, but then the thing that I want to show in this video, the thing that's really new about this whole setup, is I've started to incorporate Gantt charts, or in Spanish, these are called chronogramas. I'm sure that relates to an English word too, like chronogram. I'm sure that's what the English word is. And it's probably just a synonym for Gantt chart. But as you can see, essentially what that means is visually you can represent, especially if you have tasks that instead of are just one-time things like a per Gmail inbox. That's something that I've been neglecting for a while. My email's kind of piled up. It's got over 100 emails inside the inbox, which I'm sure I know is not as much as a lot of people. But I try to keep my email inbox pretty clean, and I've just been totally ignoring it for a while, so I need to get that done. But instead of a one-time task, if I have a project, like let's say, for example, my bathroom renovation, and each phase of that project is not a 1 hour, it's not a 1 day kind of thing, it's a multiple day thing, and it has multiple phases that are multiple days like that. This is a good example where a Gantt chart could be really helpful. This is a great example. I've got these different phases of the bathroom renovation project. The one that I'm on right now, after having already done some things that I don't have listed here, like communicating with the plumber, getting the contract signed, negotiated first and then signed, and then getting the outline in the basement for where I'm going to break up the concrete. Now it's on me, now that they've done that. Now I gotta start breaking up and removing the concrete. That is gonna involve getting a jackhammer rented and getting appropriate safety gear and probably using plastic to cover up the door so that dust doesn't go all the way throughout my house. All that kind of thing, right? That's all part of this one phase of the project. And I'm giving myself about this amount of time to do it, which you can see it goes from yesterday, the 13th of April, to I think this is... what does it say? May 3rd. I think it's what that says is May 3rd. So what is that, like 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks? And then this little arrow here, you can see is a conditional, I think it's called a condition. Inside of Notion, you can create these conditional relationships inside a Gantt chart specifically. And you can turn those on by just using the arrows, and then Notion will offer you the option to turn it on, or you can come up to the settings up here, and down here in more settings or more configurations, these dependencies is, I guess, what it's called. When they're activated, that's what enables this this conditional relationship, where essentially what that means is if I don't get this done within the allotted time for whatever reason, and all of these are dependent on having had that done first, then if I need to update this date or the dates, then watch what happens to all the other phases of the project. They automatically get pushed down the line as well, because this cannot be done until this one gets done. So it's just a nice way to see visually. It's a really classic tool in project management for staying on top of the different projects that you have going on. Now, another thing that I've been considering using Gantt charts for is my reading. I don't know about you, but I often have way more than just one book that I'm interested in reading at one time, because I'm constantly managing multiple areas of my life, right? We don't have a choice but to continually manage multiple areas, and I have multiple interests. So some of these books are for, like, these two in particular are regarding life insurance. This one especially, this one's more general with like financial planning and things. And then we've got sales for sake of the YouTube channel, and also for sake of serving, because these kind of go hand in hand together. I'm also a server. That's one of my main sources of income right now as I build the channel. And then we've got this one, which is sales, but it's more directly marketing and online marketing. All of them are of interest, all right now, enough to where I have them exalted to a particular section of my sort of home library. I've got a more archived section library downstairs where the books that I have, but I don't want directly in front of me are. And so what I want to do with my Gantt chart inside of Notion is start thinking about how I can visualize that kind of pipeline that's emerged naturally, and as it continues to evolve, it'll continue to evolve, how I can represent that inside of a Gantt chart using the sort of subjects that I just showed you. So here's what I mean. If I wanted to add a Gantt chart section to this active books section, I can just create some white space and then move it down here. Create a Gantt chart, pull in the phases database that I've already created for the Gantt chart area up here. And then I want to change the settings so that I have a start and end date showing. That's going to be over here in the design tab. Separate start and end date. I want the start date and the end date to be their own fields. And then it's showing me right now all of the phases that I've got inside here, including those for my actual projects up in the tasks, the active tasks section. But if I wanted to only show the topics of interest that are relevant to the books that I'm reading, right now I can do that just by having any phase that is not filled with a bird's eye goal. That's going to be a topic of interest for reading. Down the road, I might be able to specify these phases by, for example, creating a new property and specifying a select field, whether this is a project phase or whether it is a reading phase. All of that will come with time, but for now, I'm just going to specify if it does not have a bird's eye goal, this phase, whatever phase I'm talking about, then that is a reading phase. So we're going to specify that here. If the bird's eye goal, in this case, is empty, then you want to show it. That's, in this case, the life insurance. Life insurance is a topic of interest. Let's zoom out a little bit. I'm going to go to full year, and you can see this is a topic of interest through the summer, is roughly how long I'm planning to learn about this topic. And then we can change, or we can add another one. Let's say that I wanted to learn about online sales, and this too was going to last me through the summer, is what I'm aiming to read about it tactically. And then let's say I got another one, which is for serving, and that's restaurant serving. And because I'm aiming to start making money online and quit my serving job, I've got another job in the daytime as a substitute teacher that I'm planning to hold on to. But I'm aiming to get out of working nights by roughly the end of the summer, and so I won't have to read about it anymore after roughly, I'm aiming for the end of June. Okay, the last thing that I'll do is I'd like to see different colors for these, and so one way we can do that is by conditional formatting, similar to Excel, if you ever have done that before. As simple, just keeping it simple, I'm gonna do if the name contains this, let's say life, we'll make that blue. If it contains sales, we'll make that green. And if it contains serving, we'll make that red, because I work for Texas Roadhouse and that's one of our theme colors. The real purpose of this is beyond just project management. You can see with the example of books, the idea is that you have certain areas of interest, and because in order to counter the temptation to divide your attention evenly across all of the areas of interest and be darting constantly from book to book to book to book and from subject to subject to subject to subject, instead, a Gantt chart, again, beyond just project management, allows you to decide and see what area or handful of areas you're going to focus on for an extended period of time, a predefined specific period of time, before then scrapping that or setting it aside temporarily and before picking it up again and moving on to another one, and having therefore your focus much more consciously and tactically targeting specific areas of interest, so that, for example, with life insurance, that is an area of interest that is going to be here and then gone, or at least I'm not necessarily going to be continuing to read about that for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm sure I'll be learning a little bit here and there over the course of a long, long time, but for the most part, I just want to learn enough that I'm satisfied in deciding what kind of life insurance policy I want for myself, when I want to get it, what criteria I'm going to be looking for, how to identify the right advisor to work with, and all these different kinds of things. I don't really know exactly what all I'll learn, right? That's part of the beauty of reading. But I have a specific period of time frame that I'm thinking for reading about that subject before pulling the trigger, starting my own policy. And then once I'm content with how much I know about the subject, I can kind of put that to the side and not have it be a forefront of mind subject that I'm reading about that'll be specified in that Gantt chart. Rather, instead, maybe I'll move on into something more like online sales or Alzheimer's, because that's another thing that I'm looking to proactively guard against. If you are familiar with that Benjamin Franklin quote, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." I am not necessarily concerned about getting Alzheimer's even in the long term, but I know already that there are certain things, there are certain patterns of behavior, like in what you eat and in how much you sleep and what you're doing in your free time, whether you be learning or consuming content as a habit or whatever it is. So learning about that is of interest to me for the long term. And again, my point is, there's lots and lots and lots of different things that I want to read about, but having it be more carefully chosen and visually seen what area or select handful of areas I'm aiming to read about right now, that's the point of these Gantt charts.
When I look in your